Alright folks, Shreve here with Maps Coaching, and in the first part of this series I talked a little bit about how do you set the appointment for buyer leads that are coming in. Now in this part of the series I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what you do once you've met them at your office. Now I want you to remember that at the top of all of this you are maximizing your efforts. You want to show less homes to people that are more committed, and you want to write more contracts in less time. That's the whole purpose. So they show up anticipating they're going to receive this list, right? So I greet them, come in, how are you? Get to know each other a little bit. What do you know, how long have you lived here? And tell me about your job. And those are cute kids, and I have a dog too. And I just go through the whole thing. But we're sitting in the office around a conference table as we do it. Now there's a computer there. And I'll say, okay folks, now we got together for a reason. You wanted to see the list. You wanted to have a list of homes in Kaysville, Farmington, and Layton that are $350,000 and less, and that are all ramblers. So come right over here. Now watch this physically. I will set them physically right behind me, standing behind me. I'm at the computer, like this. They're standing there. This is important. I'll say, now, I'll put in the criteria. You want to be in Kaysville, Layton, and you're also looking in Farmington, ramblers, 350 and less. You're looking for newer homes, older homes. You know, we don't want anything older than 1980. 1980, there we go. Now I say, now folks, obviously there's a lot of homes here. 47 homes showed up. Now here is what we're going to do. Remember, they're right here. Here's what we're going to do. I'm looking back at them. The whole vibe is that we are in this thing together. We're doing something dynamic. So I'll turn around and say, now here's what we're going to do. We're going to go through this list together, and we're going to go through it once. If it's a yes, we're going to keep it on the list. If it's a no, we're taking it off the list. If it's a maybe, keep it on the list, because we're going to go through it a second time, and then a third time. Now what's going to happen is, as we go through this list, you're going to see things that are important to you, and you're going to be able to identify things that aren't important to you. So are you ready? Yep. Now as they're going through the list the first time, they'll start to say, that's interesting, I'm not sure, leave it on there, I've seen that one, take it off. Now sometimes they'll want to see the location, so I'll click on the mapping feature. That comes up, we'll show them where the home is positioned. I may say, gosh, that's really close to the power lines. And they'll go, we don't want to live close to the power lines. All right, no sweat. So we just keep going. Now, this list is organized least expensive to most expensive. And it is just our nature that by the time we get down to the most expensive, there's usually a little nicer home with a little more feature around it. And so as we go back to the top of the list, now that they've seen what's down below, they'll start checking things off. So I'll say, okay, let's go through it again. What about this one? No, that doesn't even compare to what we've seen. So things that just moments before were maybes or yeses now start to become no's as we go through the list. Boom, boom, boom. Sometimes we'll get through it all and there'll still be like 20, and I'll say, okay, we're getting close. My objective for you is to get down to 7. And I'll say the number. And they'll take the assignment, 7, okay, yeah, not that one, not that one, and they'll start slashing these things off. Now I want you thinking about this. If we were to put them in the car and drive them around and look at all these homes, we would do this exact same process. They would see the nicer homes, start to discount the less nice homes within their price range. This same exact process exists. Now, once we get down to the 7, I leave the computer there and we go back to the desk. They're no longer sitting behind me, we're around the desk. Now I say, now folks, I have an assignment for you. And I point over to the computer and I say, I want you to pick a time that you're available, that you can go. I want you to block a 2-hour period of time. I want you to drive around. I'm going to print out a list of those homes with step-by-step written instructions from one listing to the next, to the next, to the next. I want you to pull up in front of the first listing. I want you to look at the house, look at the homes next to it. Take a big breath. If somebody's out working in the yard, I want you to stop and talk to them. And I just want you to take it in. And then I ask them, now why would I have you do that? They always say the same thing. Well, we want to know if we like the area. And I'll say, if you love the home but you hate the area, will you be happy? No, we won't be happy. Excellent. When will you do this? Now it's always the same. Let's say we're doing this on a Monday. They'll say, gosh, you know, I work till Friday. We'll go do it Friday. Perfect. I tell you what, Friday I'm going to put on my calendar. I'm going to be waiting for a call from you on Friday because I'm anticipating that once you've done this, now that we've looked at the pictures and we've seen the inside of these homes, once you've stood outside and recognized where location-wise these homes are, how close they are to the schools and the local shopping center, you're going to want to see 1 or 2 of these right away. So I'm going to have my phone with me. So the second you're ready, I need you to call me, okay? Yeah, we'll do it. Now here's what always happens. He goes to work, She takes the kids to school, and guess what? She drives around. Now, they're emotionally connected already to the list, and so they're gonna pull up in front of a home, and she's gonna call him and say, drive past this one at lunch. You have to drive past this at lunch. He'll go buy it at lunch. They'll call me and say, hey, I know we said Friday, but can we see this home tonight? Now, they've seen the virtual tour. They've stood in front. They've looked at the location and the area, and now they want to see this one home. I can't tell you how many times we've written a contract on that home. Now, they like the process of the treasure hunt. They dig that. What they don't need is for us to stand next to them as the tour guide and say, now we're going to drive over to this house. And here's the front door. And look at that kitchen. And check this out. This is called a toilet. They don't need that. They are used to looking at homes online. And we're facilitating a process that's going to allow them to discover one or two homes that they've got to see. Now, I always tell them, when you find that right home, and it's got everything that you want, including the location, there is a law in the universe that causes something to happen. What is it? And they always say the same thing, well, somebody else is going to like it. That's true. So we cannot waste any time. The second we have a home that you're interested in, we've got to move on it. So call me immediately. Got it? Got it. Now at this point in the presentation, I say, now the state requires that we define our relationship. This form, and I slide the buyer agreement over. This form states that I represent you. My job is to look out for your best interest, to make sure that you get the best terms and that this goes smoothly for you. Those agents, and I point physically away, those homes have agents that are looking out for the best interests of those sellers. My job, and I point to the paper, is to look out for your best interest. And I put a pen on the paper and I say, should we go ahead and get started? Now right here, there's gonna be one of three things that happens. They either say, yep, and they pick it up and sign it, and off we go, I print the list, there they go, out the door. Or they say, we're not comfortable, and they give me some objection that I'm gonna need to handle. And then I'll just pull the paper back and say, no problem, tell me more about that. And I'll talk about that in just a moment. The other thing that happens is they say, we're not gonna sign that. And I do the exact same reaction, no problem, and I pull it back, no problem, tell me more about that. Now in the next part of this series, I'm going to explain how to overcome these objections. Again, this is all a filtration process. The idea here is to generate a mass amount of leads, to put in place a duplicatable process for you or your buyer team that will allow you to show less homes, write more contracts, and do it faster while providing a very high-level customer service experience. So in part 3 of this series, I'll take you through some objection handlers that'll get that agency agreement signed and get them out looking at homes without you.